What up, everybody? My name is Dr. Mark Carter. I like to connect your Bible to your leadership and your leadership to your Bible. That's what the Bible Leadership Podcast is all about. We started a few weeks back on a breakneck pace. A breakneck pace is when you're going so fast that it feels like there's just more and more to do, and it's really hard to stay still and listen to God, which if we're going to do some Bible leadership, we definitely need to be able to do. So today we're going to talk about some tips and hacks and some threats and surprises. I think you're going to be super encouraged by it. Let's go.
All right, y'all, we are back again talking about breakneck pace, but specifically what are some tips and hacks. So now we're going to get into like the nitty-gritty, actual practical stuff. So Mark, in our very first podcast in this series, we talked a little bit about chunking and having kind of those 5 to maybe 7, maybe 7's a little too much, but big things in your calendar. Can you elaborate on that? What did that really look like for you?
Yep.
How did you whittle those down? How did you decide what was important?
Yeah, so, and just to clarify, what we mean by chunking is it's a category of your responsibilities. To say, it's a version of time blocking. It's just saying, okay, so for me, all my preaching stuff is going to happen in this time block. In an entirely different time block, I'm going to do all my leadership related stuff. In an entirely different time block, I'm going to do all my communicating and delegating. Mm-hmm. So that means even when people text me, okay, if I'm in the middle of my preaching time block, I'm not going to respond unless it's like super urgent family or something until I get to the delegation or communication time block. So it's keeping those in different categories for the sake of our mental margin and the joy of being able to focus exclusively on one thing and hear God about that thing a little bit more clearly because we're going slower. So that's what we mean by chunking. Yeah. We said that you can only have a certain amount of chunks in your day per day. Yeah. That there's only, Wayne Cordiero says 7 at the most. Yep. Usually 5 or 6 is about where I hit, but it's also helpful even to know that because that means when I'm on chunk 4, I'm thinking through the rest of my day, okay, what do I actually have time to do versus what I used to do was race. Yeah. Just race to get as much done as you possibly can before you fall into bed. That works for a few years and then I almost died. Not literally,
what did that produce for you? Did you do, looking back, would you say that you really did anything excellently or you were just getting it done?
I think there became a transition point. So when we started the church, I had to do I had to race to get anything done because there's so much to do and there's no staff. There's no one who either they don't have the time or they just don't even know what there's to do.
Sure.
So I think there might be a season where you're in the startup phase. You just have to do that. But even then, I think I could go back and coach myself to chunk that out differently. Sure. So you're not so panicked about it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think in most cases, finding a way to take your largest responsibilities, put them in one category, and stay there until it's time to move on to the next one.
Yeah. I like the fact that you've alluded to, and I think you even mentioned that you have a couch time, family time chunk. Yeah. Because I think as leaders, sometimes we think purely about our job as our life. Yeah. To the neglect sometimes of our family and our home life. Yep. And that needs to be a chunk. Yeah. That needs to be an intentional, I'm giving my attention right now to just this. Yep. How have you seen that help in your family?
And I think this is a chunk we did without calling it a chunk early on. And that was even when we first started, even before we started the church, there was a sense of, okay, between 6 and 9, nobody's working. Because now you can work all the time. Yeah. It was, hey, it's dinner and then after dinner, activities and fun and chill. Because the family just gets you. Like they get to have you. Yeah. As the kids were young, that was really helpful because it created space for us to play and goof around and put them to bed and wrestle and all that kind of stuff. As time went by, it's a little bit strange now because the family is much older. Yeah. Everybody likes to work. And so sometimes the family
Your family.
Kenzie and I still have our exclusive non-working time, but sometimes our family is watching a movie and everybody's on their laptop. Yeah. Like that's just how it goes. But but that's a different stage. So.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's good to be mindful. Sometimes I think we'll think about our chunking life as just our work life. No, it needs to incorporate
Right.
both.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And one more tip for younger folks with younger families. I think this was good to think about every day. If I'm thinking about my chunks, one chunk belongs to my family.
Yeah.
Like at the very least one chunk.
Yes.
If you don't do that, you regret that later.
Yeah.
As we've seen so many times.
Yeah. I mean, as a threat, like where have you seen that go poorly for some other people?
Yeah, and this is it. I assume they want to like honor the Lord. But because they're trying to get so much done for the Lord, they neglect family. But family is like cutting off the branch you're sitting on.
Yeah.
Like family is the thing holding you up.
Yeah.
Family, as we mentioned before, everything else is going to go away. Your family is like the hopefully most permanent thing.
Yeah.
In addition, when you have a great family life, everything is better.
Yeah.
When you have a restricted family life, everything is tense.
Yeah.
And dude, that just sucks.
Yeah, and long term, as your children grow, there's potentially a resentment that is bred deep down, and could be some schisms in your family. So keep the people that the Lord entrusted with you first and foremost.
Come on, girl.
Intentional, yeah.
And we tried to message that to our kids.
Yeah.
That, hey guys, we shut down everything because you're important.
Yeah.
Like we want to be with you. And ministry's something we do, but you're more important than ministry.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about, there's this one lady that I follow on Instagram. She's the wife of a senior pastor, and they have now 3 little kids. And one of the things that she does on Sunday mornings is she makes cinnamon rolls every Sunday morning, because she wants Sunday to be sweet for her kids. It's just an intentional kind of push against the breakneck pace. And like, let's start sweet as a family, and remember, like, actually, this is a push day for our family. Church, I mean, let's be honest. If you're in ministry and you work at a church or anything like that, Sunday's a big day. Sunday is not necessarily a restful day.
Yeah.
But it was just a way for her to push against the race of the day to like, let's start with sweetness. Let's start with an intentionality for our
That's
family.
a dope mom right there.
Right? I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. Let's think about our calendar, Mark. So yes, you've got your chunks that you're thinking, and I think that's more you're prioritizing in your brain. I'm going to do this here, and then this here, and then this here. But when it comes to your calendar, what are some hacks that you've discovered for protecting that?
Yeah, and a lot of people know this, but open slots does not mean you're available.
Yeah.
We can live in such a way that other people kind of have control of our calendar, even though they don't know it. We're building our lives around getting them their priorities, and that's nice, and it's Christian from time to time. But when you think about it, if God has really delegated you certain things and He wants them done excellently, that means there's things you've got to say no to in order to do what God asked you to do.
Yep.
So, first and foremost, just because I have an open slot, I have an appointment with me. Like that's the first thing. Make appointments with yourself. That's where chunking became super clear.
Yep. I think really quick, if I can interject, a local senior pastor, his assistant would respond to emails, "My calendar does not allow that of me right now," and sometimes that was literally, it was just him having downtime for lunch.
Yeah.
But protecting that.
Yep. Exactly.
And feeling free to throw your calendar down and like, hey, my calendar doesn't allow me, but you have to protect that.
I'm going to tell myself here for a second, but I will often say, sorry, I've got an appointment then. Now, I do have an appointment then. It's just with me and Jesus. We're doing stuff.
Yeah.
And you can't come into our meeting.
Yeah.
So I think meetings are a big deal. If there's no win for this meeting, so I would just do meetings because we just have a meeting. I have a standing meeting with that person.
Yeah.
But over time, things change, and they may not need you in the same way.
Yes.
And so I always just got really challenged to be relentless. Does this person need me to do the job? If not, if there's no win to this meeting, let's just not even have the meeting.
Yeah.
Or can we, as you've mentioned, do an email? Often audios are helpful for me. Like audio makes me summarize what exactly we're trying to get down to. Another one is when there are meetings, and how much can you reduce meetings at all? Meaning, do I really need to see this person every week? Can I see this person once a month? Is that too little? Can I see them once every 3 weeks? Like, what does it take to make sure the thing works?
Yeah.
But I'm spending bulk of my time doing my priorities.
Yeah.
Another one, so as a pastor, there's people that want to meet with me. Life got way simpler when I just got like a Calendly or Google Calendar appointment tool that says, hey, here's when I can meet, just fill it out. I'm not going to hunt you down. If you want to do it, you'll take the initiative to do it.
Yep.
But that fills you in a slot that I know I have versus me trying to like scramble to find you a time.
Yeah.
I hear that most folks want to meet something like that, but we don't get everything we want.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't. Occasionally, you can work something there, but for most of life, I've got to be able to like rock my chunks and rock my schedule.
Yeah, I think really quick too, as a pastor or a senior leader, there's a lot of people probably vying for your attention, but don't forget that you have other support people around you, and chances are the person asking probably doesn't actually need you. They want your authority in their mind. They're looking for that authority figure. Maybe trying like pull from them. What are you really wanting to know? Oh, you know what? You would actually be really great for you to speak with this person instead.
Yep.
Pastors, lean on your other team. Like you've got people there to support you.
Yeah.
Don't try and do it on your own.
I think it's really good, E. I think also accepting that you're going to disappoint people. Because especially if you say it like, oh, well, I don't know if I can do it. That like, no, don't say that. It's got to be much firmer of like, oh, you know what? That's not going to work.
Yep.
Let's try this. Now it's just firmer. Like, my win is not to make you happy today.
Yeah.
My win is to rock my stuff, which includes you 3 weeks from now.
Well, and I think that's a great thing to keep in mind too. Is there's good work that only you can do. Like we talked about that. Only do what only you can do, and you as the leader cannot help everyone all the time, and it actually doesn't serve the greater community for you to try and solve all these problems.
Right.
Thinking back to Jethro with Moses, it was like, why are you solving all these? No, you need to divvy up the authority. Like, bring other people around you to help solve some of these things. So. And
I think the inability to be firm is what kills leaders.
Yeah.
Meetings, when having meetings.
Yes.
Being much more clear of what is the win of this meeting, what are we trying to solve. In earlier years, it was kind of like meetings were both get work done and hang out.
Sure.
It was pastoral, like, well, let's find out if there's any problems God wants to help solve. I can get to the point of that much quicker by just saying, hey, what are the problems we're trying to solve today?
Yep.
And if there are no problems, let's meet next time.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing for us to do. Like, I've got other stuff to do. We've done this, your husband and I have done this. Can we just do audios today? Like, is that get it done? And it's condensed to 10 minutes rather than 40 minutes or whatever it would have been.
Yep.
And then just, again, reevaluating as seasons change. I love this person, but do I still need to meet with them?
Yeah.
Or can we just like have lunch from time to time?
Yep.
And
keep those relational tanks full.
Exactly.
Yes.
Can we have them for dinner? And that's way better than a meeting, every other week or whatever. So.
Yep. All right. Thinking again back to your chunking, to your planning out your calendar. I think you alluded to this in our first episode, but some days things just aren't going to get done because it didn't fit in your chunk.
Yeah.
It not. It did not need to happen today. How have you balanced some of that out? How have you learned to do that well?
Yeah, and again, great question. I think there's some folks this doesn't make a lot of sense for because the nature of your job is you have multiple deadlines every day.
Yes.
And so I feel for that. When you have a little bit more flexibility, it's a great psychological release to just, once you trust yourself, I actually am having this chunk tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's much easier to be like, okay, that was good. I'm going to come back here tomorrow and that'll be good. There are some things where you just have to know by where you are in the week. So for preaching pastors, you're always on a timer. Like it's ticking down until when you preach again. And so there's certain places where I'm this far, okay, I can't spend any more time focusing on the background of this particular culture in the ancient Near East. By this day, I should be here in the message.
Yeah.
And so this will make you just speed up certain processes of like, I'm just going to force myself to get to this stage, and we won't worry about that kind of other stuff.
Yeah.
With leadership stuff, it may just be the move you're trying to make bro, you just need to renegotiate the deadline of that. Because given what you now know, for you to work deeply and with margin, you're just not going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
And so the renegotiating of deadlines, I think is actually a helpful thing for leaders. Need to be able to self-deadline, but then they also need to be able to say, that was unrealistic. Let's remake the plan.
Yeah. I think that's great for leaders to be mindful of. You have a lot of people underneath you who also have their own daily tasks, and as you're assigning additional things to them, be mindful and be a gracious leader to say, is this doable? And I think just a generosity in your timeline. I think as an admin person, I will often receive a task and feel this urgent pressure of like, I have to do this now. So getting some language, like work with your teammates, work with your leadership to come around some common language of, do you have a specific due date in mind for this? Is there a time at which this absolutely has to be completed? Is this are we thinking it? Is this a theoretical idea, or is this like, no, we need to pull this off tomorrow? I think having some of those things in mind probably will help your entire culture go a little bit better.
Absolutely. There's a book by Cal Newport called Slow Productivity. It is a dope book, and it really is about we're addicted to just getting more and more and more and more done. And so he's got this different paradigm of slowing down, doing deep work, and really, this sounds weird, you don't take another like assignment until you finish the last assignment. That looks very different in different contexts, but it's still a different way to think about it. Instead of like, I'm just pushing onto Erica's plate, it is okay, I have all this stuff. When you're done sufficiently with that you like, this is good, we're agreed that's good, then you can just take one off the top and start
chucking.
Start down that road.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be a lot of talk about that and as you said, give language to it, but that book is fantastic and it will help you slow down everything you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's good. Mark, why would you say it's so important to accept that some things just simply won't get done?
I think it's hard to count on the sovereignty of God in the same moment that we're trying to like crush a goal.
Yeah.
Because again, God's ways are higher than our ways, and I'm only operating according to the wisdom of man unless I get a direct word of wisdom from God. And so as I'm able to just consistently say, I had this plan, but God is sovereign and God is purpose, and we've all seen this. He sets us up, like he stalls some things to make it go better later.
Yeah.
Like that's just how he rolls. I think that requires flexing the faith muscle. And just deciding, like and I think it might even point out some idolatry. Like when we have little idols of check marks of getting it done, that can work against the God who is like, no, that's good, that's sufficient.
Yeah.
So,
I love one of my favorite books that really shifted a lot of my thinking when I was in a breakneck season was The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he pointed out is like God calls us to a Sabbath, and more often than not, it's to like rend from our hearts the need to get things done, and you need to have a day where productivity is not your purpose.
Yeah.
Where you are reminded, no, it's the Lord who accomplishes the things, and I will not be able to do all of it in my own strength. Setting it aside for an entire day to focus. Mark, what are some other like patterns maybe in your own life that have kept like a Sabbath mindset or a slow mindset like top of your priority?
Yeah, I think they're versions of Sabbaths. It's intentionally building the calendar to eject before you're burnt out. And so I kind of went through this process years ago where I would take a look at, okay, where am I dead? Like, where am I, like, oh my gosh, bro, you cut to the bone. You're way overdue for a break. Where's that? Go backwards 2 months. That's where in the year you should be taking time off.
That's wise.
And that has slowly become over the years, that's also becomes a key margin-filled planning time. So I take 3 weeks off in November. I'm going to do that, and here's what we're going to do. Jesus and I, we're going to get out in the woods. We're going to be chillaxing. And there's going to be a lot of time to pray and talk about the preaching calendar and what we're doing as a church in the coming year. Now, 6 months later, I'm going to be able to do the exact same thing, with, okay, well, we had these plans, Lord, now this has changed a little bit, what about this? But that pattern is just a built-in slow. It just slows everything down.
Yep.
So that's one. Getaways after big events, you guys know about this. When there's an Easter or a Christmas, like early on, we had to decide, we leave after that. We focus on the family. During Christmas season, let's say, Dad's pretty busy.
Yep.
I've got to make up for that on the other side of that by intentionally focused time on the kids. Building that in, it fills up the relational tank, so now the base is strong again. It also just helps me not think about ministry all the time. So those little getaways, and then there's just for those who are married, just your time with only your spouse.
Yeah.
Let's get away once, twice a year. Some people do it every month, like whatever you can do, man. But where it's not about ministry, like we have a life. And all of that just like, it pours out maybe the sludge buildup of ministry. Like, there's just the yuck that gets on you after a while. No, life is not this, dude. Get rid of that. Yeah. Focus on what is God doing in me and my spouse and my family. All that kind of stuff built into the calendar. And I say that built in to the calendar.
Yeah.
It's not like when we find it. It's until you get intentional about it. I think you're kidding yourself that it's really going to happen consistently.
Yeah. Henry Nouwen says, without solitude, it is virtually impossible to live a spiritual life. We do not take the spiritual life seriously if we do not set aside some time to be with God and listen to Him.
Word.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good. Matthew 11, Jesus is talking to His people and He's saying, take my yoke upon me and learn from me. Like, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened. Take my yoke upon me and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. And I think that very vivid picture that Jesus painted for us of there is the mature, strong oxen, Jesus, and there is a yoke. There's something connecting Him and us together. And as we just go through His unhurried pace, we learn His pace. It gets deep down into our bones. The work is still getting done, but it's getting done at a pace that is sustainable and wise.
Yeah.
But you got to come to Him. You got to be near to His heart.
Yes.
So lay your burden down. Don't try and take that yoke upon you by yourself. Like, come along with Jesus, the best leader. He's going to lead you the wisest way.
So good, girl.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hey, if this was helpful, would you consider liking and sharing, putting it places where other people who need this kind of content are going to find it? Also, you may know that we have a lot of other places you can find our stuff, TikTok, Instagram, all the things. So go ahead and check those out in places where you're going to be anyway. And don't forget to lead strong today.